Shawn put the team on his back and carried us right to the finals. I mean, Gary played well and Dad and all those guys, but Shawn was the beef and the muscle that got us to where we, that year's finals.
The next series, and again, I've always thought it showed that it was like a champagne cork coming out, that there was so much pressure on the guys who had been there for a couple of years. And as you say, you weren't privy to that. You beat Sacramento, and then you go and you face the 2-time champion Rockets, and they're fading a bit. Nevertheless, you sweep them, and you sweep them pretty easily. You don't blow them out, but you're never in danger in any of those 4 games. And I thought, boy, there you go. That's the team we've seen over the years.
Exactly. And that was Shawn. Shawn had a series that was just crazy. No matter what happened in the play or the possession, we threw it to Shawn, and Shawn carried us, right? We'd run our plays. I remember it specifically, Shawn just throw to Shawn, get the ball to Shawn. We don't care what play it was. When I was with the Spurs, Walter Berry couldn't remember any of the plays, so we just said pass in game 4, which meant pass the ball 4 times, and when Walt catches it, get out of the way. And it was sort of like what we did with Shawn in the Houston series, like, okay, let's pass it around a couple of times and give it to Shawn.
Brent Barry once told me that the Sonics offense was he runs to a corner and sticks his finger in his nose and waits to see what Gary's going to do with the basketball.
And more than likely, he was taking to the hole and he couldn't score. He gave it to Shawn.
So the Houston series, I think retrospectively, it was important that you guys played the way you did, because coming up next is Utah, and they were a real great rival for this franchise. And you did play some in that series, and that's just the classic NBA 7-game slugfest against those guys.
And it was a slugfest. I remember Vinny and I would come in roughly around the same kind of rotation when George was back to using me in that series, and John Stockton, we wanted to hammer his ass, and we did. At one point, I gave him a shot, and I would go in with my hands towards the ball, but I'll catch you with an elbow or two if you came in where you weren't supposed to be. And I caught him high, and Vinny caught him low, and I cut his eye, and he had blood dripping down the side of his face, and he was yelling at me, "That's all you can do anymore, Brick. That's all you can do." I said, "Yeah, but I'm pretty good at it still. Go fix your eye."
You're grossing me out here. Get a bandage on that thing. Do you, as you watch the game today, it's a different game, and every generation goes, well, when I played, it was much more physical. Yeah. And I mean, these guys in 20 years will be telling us the same thing. But there's no doubt, without the hand checking, they don't allow near the physical stuff they used to. Do you miss that side, or do you like today's game?
I love the athletics of it. I love seeing the guys fly to the hole like everybody else does. But there's nowhere on the planet where you can walk onto a basketball court and be protected like you are in the NBA. Right? And that means if I'm on a playground in whatever city and I'm a guard and I come and challenge a big man, I'm more than likely going to take a shot or get hit or have basketball played. So my issue has always been with David Stern. David Stern was a close personal friend of mine, and I love him to death. But I resented that he made us all a ton of money, right? He bought in his genius marketing machine, and he brought the NBA to where it was today.
Right.
So with that came, prior to him, if you were a superstar, you earned your superstar stardom by winning championships. That was the only way to be a superstar. Magic, Larry, Michael, everybody. Now here comes David with his marketing machine and says, Anthony Hardaway, if you can sell sneakers and Wall Street likes you, we like you, we'll make you a superstar. So that's where the line is for me, is a lot of these guys were just produced and marketed and became superstars when they really didn't earn it. And a lot of people agree with me in that sense. And then they handed the game over to the athletes, the two guards, the Steph Curry's, the whoever, right? Just fly into the hole. And I'm like, where's the hit? And the fouls I used to commit, I didn't try and hurt anybody. Those are flagrant. I'll be suspended for 1 or 2 games for a normal foul, right? And the guards expected it. There was Mark Price. He was a tough little son of a bitch. He came at you. You had to match him, right? You had to hit him. So there were a lot of guards like that would come in the lane and take the hits and they were just little studs.
as you guys wrap up that Utah series, epic Game 7, the city exploded. That was one of the great parties in Seattle history that night. I'm sure you guys were partaking as well. You've got a couple of days before the finals start. We'll get to the finals in the second segment, but in the wake of the Utah series, and you're looking at the Bulls, and it's Michael and Scotty and Phil and the whole bunch of them, and they've won 72 games. Athletes are wired to think they're going to win. So you guys, I'm not going to say, oh, did you think you could beat the Bulls? Why did you think you could beat the Bulls at that point? What was it in as you looked at the finals that made you think the Sonics are going to win?
We had all the pieces, right, to match the Bulls, to play honest up against them, and you know, Dead and Kukoc and Longley and Shawn and Dennis and the whole bit. The whole thing with Dennis and I got way too much attention in my mind. It wasn't deserving of that attention. Where the attention should have been placed is on, can Dennis Rodman stop Shawn Kemp? Can Gary affect Michael's game? Can Det shut down Kukoc? And we had a chance to do that, right? And we didn't do it. So wherever that blame lands or that responsibility lands, it lands on the team. And we weren't able to accomplish it. But we sure had a fun series. My God, I remember the soldiers coming out of the rafters on these rappelling lines. It was just this, and Lenny Kravitz. I remember Lenny Kravitz, Let Love Rule was playing, and it was just magical.